Hello, and welcome to what I'm calling the Courtside Counselor. This is my much shorter recap of tonight's legal watch on the 70-page federal indictment unsealed last week involving betting, the CBA, and NCAA basketball. Now, I'm coming to you from my office today, sipping a tea that is almost as sweet as I am, but we are about to get into something very, very salty. We're talking about a massive FBI takedown in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. We have 26 people charged in a global bribery and points shaving scheme that touched everything from the Chinese Basketball Association to 17 different NCAA teams. Now, before we dive into the who's who of this criminal roster, I want to give you a quote that is currently taped to my refrigerator. One of the lead fixers, Shane Hennon, aka Sugar Shane, was texting a buddy and said, "Nothing guaranteed in this world but death, taxes, and Chinese basketball." Well, Shane, it turns out the FBI is pretty guaranteed too. So let's get into the brief. How does a scheme like this start? It didn't start in a dark alley, it started on the hardwood in China. Now, the fixers, and honestly, some of these nicknames are so goofy. I can't even handle it. We've got Marvis Fairley, known as Vizino Locks, and then, of course, Sugar Shane Hennon. These are the high stakes gamblers and handicappers. And they recruited a guy that some of you may know named Antonio Blakeney. Now, for my hoops junkies, you know the name. Former McDonald's All-American, played in the NWA for the Bulls, and was a superstar for the Dragons in the CBA. Now, in March of 2023, the Dragons played the Guangdong Southern Tigers. Guangdong was favored by 11.5 points. The fixers dropped nearly $200,000 in bets at the River Casino in Philly alone to cover that spread. The result, Blakeney, who was averaging 32 points a game, suddenly underperformed and only scored 11. Guangdong won by 31. The payday fairly allegedly put a package in Blakeney's storage unit in Florida containing nearly $200,000 in cash. Come on, a storage unit full of cash? That's some Netflix level drama right there, right? So now here's where it gets heartbreaking for me as an agent and as a mom. After they conquered China, they turned their eyes towards our kids here in the NCAA. They weren't just betting on who won or lost, they were betting the point spread, specifically the first half spread. And I go into this more in the long podcast on Thursday, what that means. They targeted 39 players across 17 teams. Teams like DePaul, Buffalo, Robert Morris, and Southern Mississippi. The pitch, they offered these players bribes between $10,000 and $30,000 per game. As a lawyer, I look at the risk. As an agent, I see the vulnerability. They targeted players for whom that money would meaningfully supplement or exceed what they were getting from legitimate NIL, name, image, and likeness deals. It's sweet in a dark way, I guess. They'd use Jalen Smith, aka Jay, to fly around the country with a suitcase full of quote unquote bread. On one flight to Kennesaw State, Jalen actually texted a player a photo of $100,000 in cash he was carrying on the plane just to show he was serious. That's not a business trip, honey. That's a one-way ticket to federal prison. Now, let's talk about the actual games because some of these text exchanges are just... So, in March 2024, DePaul is playing St. John's. The fixers have Jalen Terry and I want to make sure I say these names right. Hold on. And Deshaun Nelson. So they have Jalen Terry and Deshaun Nelson in the bag to underperform in the first half. But there's one player on the court who isn't in on the betting scam, right? He's out there playing his heart out, hitting shots, playing defense. Now, Jalen Smith, the fixer, right, actually texts a player during the game telling him that the guy playing well needs to chill the blankety blank out. Imagine being so good at your job that you're accidentally ruining a federal crime. I mean, I absolutely love that, right? Then there's the Coppin State game. The fixers bet on South Carolina State to blow them out. But a player at Coppin State, let's call him person number 13, was hooping his blankety blank off. Smith texts him at halftime like, "WTF you doing? It need to be a blowout." The bet actually failed. South Carolina State only won by 3 points, and the fixers lost their shirts on that one. A pro tip for any aspiring price fixers, it's hard to tell a competitor not to compete. Okay, so let's get smart for a second. And like I said at the start, this is a much quicker look, like an overview at the law involved here. If you want details, defenses, charges, etc., read the blog. It's up now, and watch the significantly longer podcast. It's over an hour, airing tonight at 10 p.m. Pretty please. We really I get to put my lawyer hat on and get into all of that. So, but on a higher level note, why is the FBI involved in a basketball game? It's the Sports Bribery Act of 1964. It's codified at 18 USC Section 224, and it was designed to protect the integrity of sport and the public's confidence that when we watch a game, it's decided on merit, not a bank transfer, right? They are also looking at wire fraud, which is 18 USC 1343. And I'm going to link to all these down below. Every time the fixers sent a text to coordinate a bet or used an app to move money, or even any of the players, they were transmitting wire communications in interstate commerce to execute a scheme to defraud. That's a big no-no. If convicted, these guys are looking at up to 5 years for bribery and up to 20 years for wire fraud. This isn't a slap on the wrist. This is the Fed saying you don't mess with the integrity of the game. Now, as an agent, this is breaking my heart. And as a mother, right? We're in the NIL era. We're in the transfer portal era. These kids have more opportunities than ever to make legitimate money. And so many of these kids, and I go over that, I believe in tonight's podcast, they're like players of the month. They're like these are not bad players, right? But when you have fixers whispering in their ears, offering $20K for a bad first half, it shows how much work we still have to do to protect these athletes. The FBI and the DOJ are making an example out of these 26 people. And many of us have gone to calling them the Philadelphia 26, right? They want the message to be clear. The House always wins, especially when the House is the United States government. Now, that's my time, right? I said I was going to keep this one short. To all of you watching, stay smart, stay sweet, and if someone offers you $20K to miss a layup, call your lawyer or call me. I'll see you courtside, and hopefully I'll see you tonight for the live premiere of the much longer version.
You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state.